Hey, what's up everybody? This is C.L.S. all-in-one. In today's video, I'll show you how to use a rubber wheel eraser to remove decals from painted vehicle surfaces, such as this RV. And this same method will also work for removing various stickers, tapes, glue, pinstriping, and other adhesives from metal, glass, wood, or fiberglass. And this can all be done without causing any surface damage as long as the eraser wheel is used properly. So for this demonstration, I will also be testing out a few different eraser wheels. This first one is made by Master Pro, and it measures at 3.5 inches wide by approximately 3/4 of an inch thick, and costs around $35, and this can be found at auto parts stores such as O'Reilly. This second one is a generic brand that can be found on eBay, and it measures at 4 inches wide by 1 inch thick, and costs around $7, which is a great price, but the quality is not very good, and I'll talk about that more here in just a few. So I will start off with the Master Pro. This includes an arbor so it can easily connect to most drills. The recommended RPM speed for this eraser wheel is anywhere from 3,500 to 4,000. Anything above 4,000 could potentially cause damage. Eraser wheels usually work best when holding the drill sideways, as shown here, with a small amount of pressure applied. If too much pressure is applied, you could end up with burn marks damaging the surface. When using for the first time, you should always test a small area first to make sure no damage is happening. When removing larger decals such as the ones shown here, it's best to only go a couple inches at a time, then let the eraser and surface cool down for around 20 seconds, then go again, in order to avoid too much heat buildup which can potentially cause burn marks. With smaller stickers such as pinstriping, cool down is usually not necessary. And here's a look at the surface after removing the decals in this corner. As far as how long this eraser will last, it will really vary depending on the age and size of the decals and the surface that you are working on. On this RV, I was able to do both front corners plus a 7-foot section on the passenger side before the eraser wore down to a point where it became unusable. And something to keep in mind when removing older decals such as these, there will usually be a slight difference in the paint color and possibly even the paint thickness, because where the paint was covered with the decals, it was actually protected from normal wear from the sunlight and other weather conditions. Now let's try out the second eraser wheel, which is just a generic brand. This one does have fins, which is supposed to keep it cooler, but the rubber is softer on this one, so it does wear faster. The RPM rating for this one is the same as the first, which is 3,500 to 4,000, and this also comes with an arbor so it can easily attach to your drill. And again, this works best holding the drill sideways with a little bit of pressure against the surface. So this eraser wheel seems to be removing the decals at about the same speed, but the wear on the eraser is much greater. After only getting a couple feet done, the eraser was already halfway gone. Then shortly after, the eraser actually failed and began to spin where the arbor mounts, making it unusable. I figured maybe I just got a defective one, but out of the 3 I purchased, all 3 failed before wearing all the way down. So to correct this, I actually ended up drilling a hole through the erasers, then used a large bolt with washers and nuts to make a new attachment for my drill, which worked pretty good from that point on. But because the quality of these erasers is poor, I will not be buying these again. And here is a couple of tips that you might find useful for removing larger decals such as these. I found that if you remove about a 1 inch wide strip with the eraser every couple of inches first, it helps keep the surface and eraser from getting too hot. And it would also be a good idea to avoid removing the decals or other adhesive products in direct sunlight on days where the temperature is above 80 degrees. On hot days, it would be best to find a shady area or position whatever you're working on to where it's out of the direct sunlight, because once again, if the surface gets too hot when using the eraser, it may cause damage. So at this point, I'm just about done with the front of this motorhome, and as you can see here, this eraser is completely done. So it's time to grab another eraser and carry on. And I believe I went through 4 of these cheaper erasers just in this front area. And here's a look at the aftermath. On the ground, I have a fairly big mess to clean up, caused by the shavings from the eraser and the decals. And this next step is not always necessary, but after removing the decals with the eraser, I like to use an adhesive remover, such as Goof Off, to wipe down the areas I just worked on to clean up any remaining residue that may be left on the surface. And now I'm done with the front of this motorhome, but I still have a lot of work left to do because I'm trying to remove all the decals on this 30-foot motorhome from front to back. So I'm going to need at least 6 more of the Master Pro eraser wheels just to finish. But you should keep in mind when it comes to determining how many eraser wheels you might need, it really depends on the size of your vehicle and what you're removing. If you're just removing some pinstriping on a regular sized vehicle, you may only need 1 eraser wheel. Okay, it's now time for me to go. If you like this video, if you could, hit that like button and please subscribe. And have yourself a great day, and I'll see you next time.